for either player.
Yeah.
Garret Roosa, the Death and Taxes player, has a sort of Fire and Ice, a sort of Light and Shadow, and an Umezawa's Jitte as his creatures. And his opponent just has 2 Umezawa's Jittes as his equipment. Interestingly enough, the Maverick player does not have Stoneforge Mystic, which has kind of become the way to build Maverick recently. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Yeah, it seems pretty loose.
Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic is a pretty good card.
Yep.
Now, so in that regard, Garret Roosa kind of has an advantage. I think in a matchup where it's like creature deck versus creature deck, the deck that has Stoneforge Mystics is a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have, the biggest thing is probably the Jittes, and I mean, maybe the sort of Fire and Ice to an extent, but
yeah, like sort of Fire and Ice and sort of Light and Shadow aren't really great in this matchup because so much stuff is just green.
Yeah. And yeah, they both have 4 swords.
Seems pretty sucks. Sarah Avenger, an interesting one.
Yeah. So good.
Garret Roosa rocking the NPR shirt. Appreciate that. Donate to National Public Radio. The only way they can survive and bring you unbiased coverage is if you are donating. Otherwise, they need to, court corporate sponsorship, and then they won't be unbiased anymore.
Yeah. Man, it doesn't seem fair that one of them gets to play 5 Jittes and one only gets to play 2.
Yeah, it's a pretty big difference. However, the one who only gets to play 2 also has 4 Pride Mages.
Yeah.
And he has Green Sun Zenith for his Pride Mages.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay. Alright, so Garret Roosa leads things off with a Plains and an Aether Vial. Pretty sweet Plains.
What is that, like Ice Age?
I think it's Ice Age. Alright, Thomas Croan. He's going to Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
Pretty absurd that you can just play that card as a land ORL.
It's pretty awesome interaction, yeah.
Another nice thing about having Dryad Arbor in your deck, especially when you're playing equipment, is that you can end step fetch land for something to equip your Jitte with, and it's just this uncounterable
sneak
guy
attack.
that starts, getting in. A lot of players really aren't prepared for that. So there are multiple angles to that Dryad Arbor. A lot of people just see it as a Green Sun target, but it's so much more. Alright, so Garret charges up the Aether Vial, and let's see what he has for his second turn. Another Plains. This time it's a Cold Snap. Snow-covered Plains. So it's funny that he has a regular Plains, no, that's a Snow-covered Plains.
They're both just snow-covered probably, right?
Yeah, I guess all of his Plains are snow-covered.
Yeah.
Turn 2 Thalia.
Thalia, not bad.
Yeah, Thalia is one of those cards that in this matchup, it's definitely just better to be the one casting your Thalia first.
Yeah, just getting aggressive with it.
It's got First Strike, gets in there. Just turn your opponents into a removal spell and limit their options on their turn.
Wasteland pretty good. Not that many great targets for it.
Alright, so Kasali Pride Mage comes down, and Thomas is going to have to decide whether or not it's worth it to blow up this vial right now. And
oh wow, he's going to.
He's going to. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you always want to save that for Jittes.
Yeah, or just equipment in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, Garret has an active Mother of Runes, and that's pretty good in any sort of creature matchup. Another vial. Not very good when you draw a vial, not on turn 1, but
yeah.
I think the Mother of Runes is what, Thomas should really be worried about right now.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good hold on the game right now.
The issue is, though, he's stuck on 2 lands, so let's see what happens. I don't really know how many 3-drops he has in his deck, though, so it shouldn't hurt him too much.
Yeah, I mean, Angara, Flicker Wisp, not too much.
Alright, and Thalia, Legend Roll.
Legend Roll, yeah.
Decides against it. Garret Roosa being chastised a bit by the judge for only paying 1 for his Aether Vial despite having a Thalia on play.
Oof.
Still had the 1 mana open.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it doesn't make a difference really at all.
Yeah.
It's even if he had a plow, I mean,
Yeah,
plow would cost 2.
Unless he's just ignoring the Thalia completely.
All right, Thomas, taking his time with this play right here. All right, the judge has paused the match.
You get a warning or something?
Yeah, they'll probably get a warning for not paying the extra mana for the vial. It really makes no difference, but
I mean, if he has a bunch of warnings, there's always a chance of like a game loss or something.
All right, so at this point, I'm looking at these people's sideboards. Thomas Croan gets to bring in 2 paths. Fauna Shaman's probably pretty awesome here. Linvala is pretty insane against this deck. Yeah, so Linvala, you definitely bring the Fauna Shaman just because it finds the Linvala.
Yeah.
I don't know, he could if he wants to take out equipment and bring in Stony Silence, but that doesn't seem too good here.
No.
And I think that's about all he wants, paths, Fauna Shaman, and Linvala.
Probably.
On the other side we have Garret Roosa, and he'll probably bring in
Dismember.
Ghostly Prison seems terrible.
Prison.
Is that card good? Like, I just don't like that card in any matchup, right? Because you're a creature deck.
Yeah.
I guess if they're trying to
It
like,
makes him tough. Like.
I guess if he knows that they're like a creature deck that doesn't have spot removal, like if they're a
Just trying to get through with a lot of guys.
yeah.
No, but yeah, it doesn't seem good enough.
Yeah, like a creature deck without spot removal, like something like, like Merfolk, he might want to side in Ghostly Prison against, because then eventually he could just assemble his Mangara combo
Yeah.
and then grind the game out. But, and Merfolk's not really a big part of the metagame right now.
Yep. So, what happened? Looks like they
They're
take
rewinding the
back
turn?
vial? I think so. Pretty odd.
Okay.
I guess they're explaining what happened now.
On his turn, he paid 1 mana for Aether Vial. We have it on camera if these judges would like to know what happened. It's really not that big of a deal.
I mean,
This should just be like a warning at most. I'd actually be surprised if this was even a warning. But
it would definitely be a warning, but I don't know why they're making such a big deal about it. Sometimes judges just, overstep a little bit and totally kill the pace of the game like this.
yeah, and also this affects the way both players play.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like Garrett's definitely going to be a little bit on tilt now because of
totally kills their mindset. They're
like
playing
that.
for the game.
All right, and he attacks for 2, and the game is exactly how it was 10 minutes ago. All right, so is this still happening?
Yeah, they're still, I think, explaining something.
Players at StarCityGames.com dealer booth will be closing down a half an hour after the end of Swiss, so you've got about an hour to get over there and finalize all of
looking at other cards in the decks that really matter. I mean, Thomas Croan is Elspeth, which is pretty awesome here.
Yeah.
Half an hour after Swiss.
There's nothing that can really block it. You could block with a Flicker Wisp, right?
Yeah, Gavany
Jump
Township's
shot.
also pretty awesome here.
Yeah, if the game goes late.
I actually like the Honor the Pure in Garrett's sideboard. I think that's pretty good in this matchup.
Yep. And there we go.
And we're back. All right.
Talia Legend rules. Stirring Wildwood.
And okay. Still an active Mother of Runes on Garret's side of the table. He draws a Caracas and gonna play that into the Wasteland. Not really much of a choice.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, I don't think he really thought about that too much.
He has a Flicker Wisp in his hand. I mean, it's just gonna.
Yeah, that's true.
End step, start some fun things. I probably would have attacked for one with the Mother of Runes because you know, I mean, that it induces your opponent to use a plow, and then you have the Flicker Wisp. You know.
Yeah.
So
Draw it out.
Your opponent could always, you know, use their Wasteland first, but you know, even if they do that, it's not the end of the world by any means. All right, a Scavenging Ooze for Thomas Croan. Scavenging Ooze is kind of one of the breakout cards the last year. It's printed in the Commander decks, and it's legal in Legacy, but no other constructed format, except for Vintage, of course. And, you know, it's replacing Tarmogoyf from many decks.
Yeah, it's a really good, solid all-around creature.
Alright, so a Swords to Plowshares is going to hit that Scavenging Ooze. Garret correctly paying 2 mana for Swords to Plowshares. And Thomas taking a bit. Not really much his deck can do here about that.
Yeah.
Not really sure what he's thinking about.
I mean, he could remove a Talia, or it doesn't really seem like it matters.
He can remove some of his own guys so that he gains some life and then gains more life from the swords, but then he has to tap his mana, and in addition to tapping his mana, he has to you know, also not have those guys in his yard in case his Scavenging Ooze can actually start to battle.
Yeah.
So
activates his Vial for 2. Stoneforge, there you go.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good one. So we can expect a Umazaw's
just a Jitte, right?
Yeah, and now that means that Garret is going to have access to Umazaw's Jitte with a Mother of Runes on lane. And that is really rough for any sort of creature mirror.
Yeah. Seems pretty rough for Thomas to come back from this.
I mean, he needs a Pride Mage right now.
Yeah.
1 extra mana, Garret. Don't do this to yourself.
Not again.
No, Garret, no.
Oh no, the Talia's
dead. Okay, good. Yeah. That really took so long that I ended up saying that Talia was just like a Vanguard card, you know? Like Alright, so
really need a Pride Mage or
Pride Mage or bust right now. Oh, he's got a Green Sun Zenith,
so yeah, he can pay 3.
It's gonna be fine. But I mean, he really needs to do that right away.
Yeah.
Alright, and a Green Sun Zenith for 2. Assuming that he's going to search his library for Kasali Pride Mage here. You've got to deal with that Umazaw's Jitte.
Yeah. It's pretty big. It's Garrett's only Jitte, so.
Yeah, once he deals with this one, he doesn't have to worry about
Thomas just
them
has
again.
Jitte superiority if he ever draws one.
But, you know, here we're seeing the power of Stoneforge Mystic also, because even though, you know, Garret is losing this Jitte, his opponent's spending 4 mana to deal with it, and, you know, Garret still has a guy left over that can carry future equipment, and you're just having another creature in play with a Mother of Runes is generally a good thing.
Yep.
Makes it really easy to make the game go long if you want it to.
Yeah. Pretty surprised he hasn't... Yeah, he didn't Wasteland.
Caracas before that.
Yeah.
Alright, and I don't really understand equipping. You know, if you don't equip, you
I mean, you bluff something else, but yeah, I mean, he just missed some damage, right? By letting him block.
Oh, Flicker Wisp.
so we're gonna
Target's
Flicker Wisp,
permanence.
right.
Yeah. I'd forgotten Flicker Wisp.
Yeah. That was, I don't know why he didn't just blow up the Jitte right away. Seems like a really big mistake.
Now, it's permanent, not a creature. So, that's a really, really big gaff for Thomas there.
So now he needs another removal spell for the Jitte.
He doesn't have it. Oh, just passing the turn. Now Garret can just suit up a Flicker Wisp with the Jitte and get rid of that Stirring Wildwood. It has reach, so it's definitely the one he's going to want to get rid of.
Now you get active Jitte. It's all downhill from there.
Yeah. You know, once you start getting counters on a Jit and a creature mirror, it's pretty hard to lose. Yeah. And
Sells the mother in case of a swords or anything.
He's going to try to search Plowshares. Garret's going to give it protection from white. And Thomas may just concede here.
Yeah. Or, I mean,
maybe
has
has
another
another
swords probably. Still not that great. He's just throwing away so many cards. And it's only killing the Flicker Wisp too. It's not even dealing with the Jitte.
Yeah, it's pretty rough here.
So just throwing away swords.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
No, you want to be doing. Alright, so he's got a Scrib
he
Ranger
got a Scrib
here.
Ranger, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's fine. The Flicker Wisp will trade with the Scrib Ranger, and Garret's going to get some Jit counters.
Yeah.
Pretty big advantage. Use one of the Jit counters to get rid of that Dryad Arbor. I like that play.
Yeah.
Keeps Thomas choked on his mana. Now, Garret's just in a dominating position.
Yeah.
Game. Even as the Vial.
There's another swords.
So he top decks the swords and is able to get rid of that mom.
Yeah.
Garret going to go up to 21. Let's see. Nothing to put into play with that Vial, but these Jit counters are going to do a lot of work here.
So now, does he save his Jit counters or does he attack? Does he just go for full damage?
I think at this stage, it's still fine to save them. You're only getting in for another 2.
Jotun Grunt.
Yep.
Speed up the clock.
Yeah, now next turn he can be attacking for 11 if he wants to. Tom's, at only 18 now. Ooh,
It
that's
is
a pretty good one against the Jit.
That's a real good one against the Jit. You can see that one. He's got so many different kind of lands.
Yeah, wow.
So that's going to stop him from getting counters on the Jit now, right?
Yeah, basically forever.
Yeah. Jotun Grunt targets.
I'm surprised So he used the Jotun Grunt, getting lands out of Thomas's graveyard, minimizing the effectiveness of another Reliquary in case it comes up.
Oh,
Rishon on
Garret
port.
drew a port to counter the Maze of It.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Yeah.
These really corner case cards that just happen to interact with each other as such. Now, Garret, if he wants to, can hit Thomas for 11 here, putting him at 8. Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much he can't kill with 2 counters from the Jitte.
Yeah. Decides to just hit him for 9.
He's removing the lands from the graveyard
Putting him
to
at
shrink
10.
the Knight of the Reliquary. If Thomas would draw one.
Yeah, so this will put Thomas at 10. It's 9 damage. Seems to be some discussion about how much damage it is. And now Thomas is dead to an attack next turn.
Yeah.
Yep. Cantripping with a Horizon Canopy. I've done that many times and then conceded.
Even
just
Mind
a
Sensor,
Noble Hierarch.
Noble Hierarch, yeah.
Not going to be enough.
He is dead, right? 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, so 5. Well, only 9 damage coming out next turn. So if he plays the Hierarch, he's not dead.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play the Hierarch, he is dead.
Yeah, scooping it up. There's not really much you can do.
That's a reasonable scoop. All right, so Garret Roosa taking down game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now going to have to be in the draw in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's the much better draw from Garret there. He had his mother. He had access to his Jitte.
I mean, both players have moms, so
yeah,
should be interesting. Yeah, I mean, Death and Taxes. Like, even though these creatures are just generally weaker guys, cards like Sarah Avenger and Flicker Wisp are pretty well positioned in the mirror, just because flying is good.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah Avenger. Thomas has a really hard time blocking that guy.
Like, he really just has to sort of plowshare it.
Yeah.
And if Garrett's able to get a mom online before he plays Sarah Avenger, then it can just take over the game.
Yeah.
So these games do go long. I've been seeing a lot of other games go long, but a lot of that's just because people are thinking longer than they probably should be. But a Maverick mirror, which this essentially is, can conceivably go pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, bouncing off each other.
I don't think they're going to be sideboarding that many cards.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas has 2 Path Exiles, Fauna Shaman, and Linvala.
Yeah.
And Garret has Dismember.
Honor of the Pure, probably.
In Honor of the Pure. That's about all I can think he'd want.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants Phyrexian Revoker, but that card doesn't seem very good against anything to me.
Yeah. I mean, he could, name Jitte maybe if he has to, but...
I really hope Garret does not bring in Enlightened Tutors for his sake. I don't think he will, but...
Well, I mean, if he has dead cards, which...
He does not.
He doesn't really,
Sort of Light and Shadow, surprisingly strong in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, I mean...
It's one of those cards that also, if it lets you aggressively trade.
And then just get back your guys.
Yeah. Especially, there are a lot of situations where your opponent will... you can either present your opponent with opportunities to trade Kasali Prime Mages, or your opponent will be attacking with Kasali Prime Mages, and you'll have the option of whether or not you want to trade with them.
Yeah.
And if you have Light and Shadow in your deck with Stoneforge Mystic, then that just makes every time you trade with one of their Prime Mages just a huge plus.
Upside,
your potential to actually win the game in the long term.
Yeah. So Mangara removes itself when it uses its ability, right?
Yes. It removes itself and another target permanent from the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure it's not sacrifice it. It obviously isn't.
No, it's definitely not because the ability goes on the stack, and then...
That's why it works with Caracas and Flicker Wisp and all of that.
Yeah.
Fun interaction. You can activate a Mangara, and then with its ability on the stack, cast Flicker Wisp, you get a fresh Mangara and a Vindicate.
Can you Flicker Wisp have flash? No. So you can only you
can vial it.
Yeah. Still pretty good though.
And remember Flicker Wisp Unlimited? The card was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was. So, even Mind Sensor could be a pretty big card.
Yeah, I mean, it's good
to
against
negate the Stoneforges.
As long as it's in play. But I mean, in the same sense, like, it's also going to turn off Tom's Greenson Zeniths.
Yeah.
So. All right, Tom, thinking a little bit more about his sideboarding. As far as the mana bases go, and it's kind of sweet that Garret, by only playing one color, gets access to 4 Port and 4 Wasteland.
Yeah. Really big if your opponent stumbles on mana, you can just completely lock them out of the game.
Did Garret just show his opponent a sideboarding?
No, he showed everyone.
Oh, the 4 Caracas
Yeah.
in his opening hand.
Is that is it a legendary land now, right?
It is.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, legendary land.
Oh man, Caracas is worth a lot of money now.
Is it? Wow. Jeez. So Legacy does the cards.
Caracas.
Pretty insane.
I like how it explains that the enchantments on the legend are destroyed in the card. Yeah, it returns it to its hand. Legends are destroyed. Did Unsummon say that?
Probably. So I wonder
What happens to these enchantments?
Yeah. I wonder how the whole like play draw based by seeding is affecting people playing in the last round.
So I think they had good intentions because a lot of the time games will be locked. All right, so we're in the game. All right, Thomas leads things off with just a farce, but Garret has turned 1 Mother.
Another
runes.
Mother runes, good start.
Definitely an awesome start here.
So Garret mulliganed here.
Yeah.
Okay, still a pretty good start.
Garrett's in 6 cards, Thomas in 7 cards. Yeah. And a Path Exile.
Path.
And, that's not terrible for Garret because now, it's kind of like he didn't mulligan,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like he's on the play. And, I mean, Path Exile, obviously not a bad card, but also not a card you necessarily want to be casting on turn 2.
Yeah, you just ramp your opponent, basically give him the playback. But Mother's just too important not to do that. It looks like he just drew a replacement Mother. And another one? Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's real good.
Mom! Yeah. I think Thomas is gonna, it really doesn't even matter what else Garret has. Like, you have all lands. You can just make the game last forever now.
Yeah, you can just grind it out.
Just, eventually get some sort of like Mangara endgame online.
Yeah.
Just passes the turn.
Pass the turn. Doesn't
Aim
even
of Mind
try and
Sensor.
get one in.
Attention magic players. Our lovely altruist Lindsay Murley will be leaving in about an hour. So if you wanted to swing over, maybe get in commission official leagues, pick up a few last minute tokens.
Pride Mage and a Thalia in Thomas's hands.
Swing over there.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah. He's gonna have to try and be aggressive in the air probably.
Yeah, and this lets him do it.
Yeah.
Actually, somewhat surprised Garret didn't use the Swords to Plowshare instead of stand on the Pride Mage. I guess he doesn't really know what he wants to sort of
Yeah,
get
he's
also.
just saving it probably. Wasteland. Nope. Getting rid of white mana for Thomas, that's pretty big.
With Joan Grunt. And
Sarah Avenger, there we go.
Sarah Avenger's a big game here.
Yeah, Joan Grunt doesn't have that many cards for him in the graveyard though.
Yeah, I mean, Joan Grunt could potentially just be bad Keldon Marauders here.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? You gotta go 2 and then 4 cards, right?
Yeah. It's not the easiest to do.
Scavengers. But yeah, without white mana, it seems pretty rough for Thomas to come back here. Jeez.
Just tons of wastelands.
Too many wastelands.
Yeah, I don't think Garrett's going to get Caracas Mangara online this game.
Yeah.
Seems unlikely. So he's going to remove Thomas's graveyard. And
So Thomas kept his 7, right?
seems like it.
Yeah.
It seems, hand that's really soft to wasteland, but
Garret pretty good control of the game with 2 Mother Runes. Thomas doesn't even have white mana to try and kill him.
Ooh, that's a really aggressive chump block
Wow,
from Thomas.
yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Thomas driving to 17, tie ball game now.
Don't really understand chump block there.
And it's also a Pride Mage, so it
Yeah,
matters
I mean,
so much.
You know, if Garret has a Jitte, there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, because he doesn't even have the white mana.
Yeah. Star Avenger is going to kill you.
Yes. It's funny that card sees play in Legacy.
Yeah.
Yep, Keldon Marauders. But the Keldon Marauders actually killed a Pride Mage.
Yeah,
It's kind of insane.
somehow just... Another Star Avenger, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is...
Thomas down to 14 now. You know, just 3 more turns, even with the chump blocking that's going to come. So, pretty rough for him. I don't think he has much of a chance. Oh, actually, I guess he gets to gain some life with Scavenging Ooze. That makes it 4 turns.
Yeah. Is that his 4th Wasteland?
Yeah.
Jeez.
To match the 4 Caracases that were in Garrett's opener.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, ironically, Garret could have kept the 4 Caracas hand and it would have been able to play all of them without the legend rule.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Thomas kept a hand that wasn't great in the matchup.
Right. Garret.
Another... you got Stoneforge now. Oh,
Just in general, it's better to usually cast your spells after combat. Just like...
yeah, I mean, he's pretty excited. He knows he's real close to winning.
He's real close to winning, real close to being in top 8. And he's also probably a little bit tilted because he had just had the nervous... You know, it's pretty scary when you're potentially going to win a tournament and a judge starts questioning your
questions at you.
know,
yeah,
legitimacy.
Yeah, so I guess he named Scavenging Ooze with that, probably, right?
Seems to make sense. I mean, at this point, he might just want to name something like Jit, because that's the only thing that can get his opponent back in the game.
Thomas gets back in this game.
Or name Noble Hierarch. That actually seems really good.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, and
Garret.
Let's see what he finds. I don't really think it matters. I think he could play no more spells and win this game.
Yeah, that way mana is not winning this game. Scrib Ranger.
Just gonna chump block. Nope, not gonna have a chance to chump block.
Not even gonna bother with wasting him other runes. Got this sword and I'm gonna use it.
Thomas going up to 11. Then he's gonna drop down to 5. He does draw white mana.
Yeah. Probably too little too late though.
It unfortunately though is a white mana that may be turned off by Ava Mind Sensor. Yeah, I've never been the biggest fan of Ava Mind Sensor.
Yeah, especially when it hinders your deck a lot.
You know, it's one thing if it's in a deck like Garrett's, where it doesn't really hurt him at all because of the Stoneforge.
Yeah.
But Garret doesn't even play the card.
Yeah.
All right. So, did Thomas just search his whole deck? That Plains?
I'm not sure.
All right. I mean, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. My Mother Rune shows up about 7 turns too late. 2 mothers on Garrett's side are just making fun of her.
Yeah, we've been around forever. You haven't been to one PTA meeting. Yeah, so Thomas doesn't have any white mana open, so Garret can just use his moms to give both of his Avengers pro-white and then kill his opponent.
Yeah. And there's... Yep.
Oh, swords? Why is that not targeting even Mind Sensor to just kill his opponent?
I mean, I'll probably just give pro-white. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So, what?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Even Mind Sensor's only opponents. I'm sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the game.
Yeah,
So
not really close at all. But I mean, Garret just drew much better than Thomas.
Yeah, and I mean, having multiple Mother of Runes on those early turns, the fact that he had Mom.
Yeah.